Okay, so the new Dragon Ball Daima anime trailer is out, and there's something on my mind after watching this trailer that I can't help shake. But before we get to that, I just gotta stress that this trailer is by far the most impactful trailer that the Dragon Ball Daima anime has released thus far, because honestly, it's one of the ones that is starting to turn the tide in terms of how people feel about Dragon Ball Daima, because ever since its inception, for the most part, a lot of fans were just really disappointed in terms of they wanted the Super anime to return and adapt the Moro and Granola the Survivor arcs. They wanted just anything to do with bringing back Super. So Dragon Ball Daima was kind of a curveball for a lot of fans that were waiting for the epicness that they had read in the manga, or just in general something more closer to the vibes that they got with stuff like the Broly film or even the superhero movie, because despite that being 3D CG, a lot of people really ended up loving it, including myself, as a film and as an addition to the Dragon Ball story. However, Dragon Ball Daima, one of the biggest issues ever since people saw that first trailer, that first visual, and heard about it, was the fact that people said, hey, why are they turning the adults into kids again? Are we doing Dragon Ball GT all over again? What's going on here? I don't want this. And admittedly, myself included, there was points where I was like, do we really want to see them get turned into kids? But one of the things that differentiates it immediately from Dragon Ball GT, in my opinion, is the fact that GT turned Goku into a child. Everybody else stood the same. I mean, I guess you could argue that Pan was a child, so it was kind of like you have two children along with Trunks on this journey through space to start off Dragon Ball GT. But with Dragon Ball Daima, it seems as though majority of the cast has been turned into children, including Vegeta, which Dragon Ball fans already know, especially based off of the science facts that you would get from studying the Dragon Ball Super fandom, is that Goku and Vegeta is what works. You put Goku and Vegeta together, you sell a show. You put Goku and Vegeta together, you get the fans excited. I think one of the things that really didn't help Dragon Ball GT was the fact that not only they turned Goku into a kid, it was excluding Vegeta for majority of the series. Like, he would pop up here and there, or when Baby came to Earth, there he goes, he's in the midst of stuff, or when it was time to fight the Shadow Dragons, eventually he showed up and they did fusion, but for the most part he was excluded. With Dragon Ball Super, they've come to understand that the Goku and Vegeta show is where it's at in terms of getting fans excited. So seeing with Dragon Ball Daima that a lot of the other cast have been turned into children, especially what we see in this trailer, it kind of makes it a little bit more like, okay, we're not completely retreading what Dragon Ball GT did with turning Goku into a kid, because now all of them are. Except one character that really has me scratching my head like, what are we doing, Toei Animation? Where are we going with this? Because of all the shots we've seen, all the trailers, everything to do with Dragon Ball Daima, we still have yet to see what is going on with Gohan. Gohan doesn't seem to be a part of the trailers, a part of the promotion, and just in general, it hasn't been showcased if Gohan gets turned into a kid or not. Which I think that's kind of interesting, because at the same time, it allows for there to be at least some sort of remnant of what we know from Dragon Ball if Gohan is the sole person of being the adult. Although I guess from a other perspective, it's like, wow, everybody else gets to have fun and be kids, and Gohan has to still be studying and being an adult holding it down. What the heck? But the new trailer starts off with an unfamiliar voice doing some sort of chant. Sounds like he's doing some bibbity bobbity boo, inspired by Bobbity, because it definitely seems as though Dragon Ball Daima, from what we've heard, is going to be taking place prior to Super but post Majin Buu. So before Beerus and Whis officially showed up in person, but after the defeat and all of that stuff that happened with Buu, probably, I'm guessing within the 6 months after Majin Buu was defeated, because it wasn't long after Buu was defeated that Beerus and Whis showed up. Remember, there's a timeline for all these things. And so hearing that voice and seeing what's going on, it seems as though they want to stick real close to the whole idea of, hey, Dragon Ball Z just ended the Buu saga, here we are, which could work, but at the same time, it's going to feel a little bit funny for me personally, and I'd imagine some fans of Super as well, to see like, so we're not going to see God Mode, Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct, anything that Vegeta learned. It's going to mainly be Super Saiyan and whatever possible new forms are born from this new Dragon Ball Daima anime, which again, I'm not really mad at it per se. I love all the stuff that we've got with Super and the transformations and all that stuff is really cool, but at the same time, getting something fresh and new, and like I've said before, just without any spoilers, no source material, we're just going to be having a blast every week with new story, I'm here for it. I honestly really hope that fans don't take it too hard hard seeing, you know, Toriyama's name, because in the trailer when you see Akira Toriyama's name, and you know, of course, the man passed. He's the creator of Dragon Ball, and it broke a lot of people's hearts. I really hope that people can get through this, because yeah, it's tough for some people to kind of see the man's name there, the legend of shonen, and the man that really pioneered everything that we have going on right now with anime in the West. I hope fans just really take this more as a beautiful tribute, and at the same time, this is Toriyama's final thing that he worked on that's Dragon Ball related, and based off of this trailer and all the trailers we got, it seems as though this is doing its best to do a blend of the true to blue story of Dragon Ball that Akira Toriyama really loves to make, which is more kind of goofy, zany, think OG Dragon Ball, because definitely this trailer especially gives me more vibes of, wow, yeah, you're gonna think GT because why is Goku a kid again? But at the same time, because all of the other cast are younger again as well, it does give me more of original Dragon Ball vibes too. It's like, okay, the gang has all been reborn, so to speak. It feels like this is a rebirth for the franchise. So while, yeah, we don't want to see them as kids, at the same time, it's kind of like not a reboot, but feeling like a reboot. But it's still bizarre because it's in the midst of what's happening with Super. And at the same time, they also recently ended the Dragon Ball Heroes anime. They had the main character Beat grow up. So it seems as though Toei really wants people to pay attention to this. One of the big factors of this trailer that has a lot of fans really excited, outside of the beautiful art and animation, I can't stress, it just looks absolutely gorgeous with this trailer, is the fact that we get to see Goku go Super Saiyan in the trailer. It starts off with a tease of seeing just his eye, and then eventually you see him doing a Kamehameha and throwing down. And yeah, I mean, we've seen millions of characters go Super Saiyan at this particular point, but just the beauty of it, the choreography, the direction, the art, everything about it, it looks amazing. So while, yeah, we've seen some crazy transformations in Super and Ultra Instinct and all of that stuff, I do believe that Super Saiyan isn't going to be the end-all be-all form for this thing. Dragon Ball has been built up on transformations, and even though the fandom has kind of gotten tired of like hair color swaps, ultimately I do feel like Super Saiyan looks great here, and they're probably going to stick to Super Saiyan for a bit, but there probably are going to be new forms. I have no doubt that they're not going to take the opportunity to cash in on Goku this or Goku that. I just hope, again, if you are gonna feel a little GT-ish, one of the biggest and best things to come out of Dragon Ball GT is the Super Saiyan 4 form. So if we're going in a creative route and we're gonna go past Super Saiyan and we're gonna use forms that maybe canonically won't fit into Super for this, that, and the third, maybe it could be some sort of demon magic, because it seems as though we're going up against demons with Dragon Ball Daima. Maybe Goku will have some sort of strange demon form that, honestly, I don't want just a hair color swap. I want to see something closer to what they did, or just in general something more innovative like Super Saiyan 4. Please don't just give us hair color swaps. Please don't just abuse going only Super Saiyan, which I don't think they're gonna do that. Get creative with it. And of course, we've seen from the first trailer even till now that we're gonna have a little bit of a Goku and Vegeta skirmish. I want to say that that's probably going to be all within the first episode. From what I've heard, apparently the anime is already completed. Production of the whole season, every episode is done. And if you don't know about anime, oftentimes a lot of anime, they continue production as it's airing. Like as episode 4 is about to come out of whatever anime, they are working on it till the last minute that they gotta hand it in. But this thing is already done, and it's set to debut October 11th, the same day as Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, the highly anticipated video game from Dragon Ball, the continuation of the Tenkaichi Budokai series. And it's gonna be a Dragon Ball bonanza, and I'm just really excited about that aspect as well. Then in the trailer, we got that creepy clown looking makeup dude that I'd imagine is going to be somewhat reminiscent of Babidi. There's a lot of, again, Majin Buu-esque type of deal, and probably we're going to have some sort of evil demon magician guy that's probably going to be the main threat of Dragon Ball Daima, or at the very least this season. And another villain that seemingly is a villain. He looked sinister. He looked reminiscent of the Supreme Kai, but his design was just more menacing, and honestly, he looked a little bit more badass. What was Supreme Kai doing in here? Why is Goku going off on a journey with just the Supreme Kai? Like, granted, we see Piccolo and Vegeta and a lot of characters in this trailer throwing down, so it's not going to be just isolated to Goku and the Supreme Kai, but that just seems like a very dull combination of characters. It's like, I guess it's something totally different than people don't want like a Goku Pan type of situation, but the Supreme Kai, I'm not really all that enthusiastic about Goku and the Supreme Kai teaming up to go on a journey together. Like, there's so many other characters I would have loved to see. I'm just saying. Even Goku with Goten and Trunks would have been fire. Apparently the planet they're going to is an unknown world. Again, they're trying to figure out how to stop this demon and revert everyone back to their normal age or whatnot. In this trailer we get introduced to a couple of characters, Glorio and Panzi, and yeah, they kind of look more like Dragon Ball Heroes type of characters. They don't seem like typical Toriyama art or a typical Toriyama character design. Also, I'm not sure if that background music that they use in the trailer is going to be the anime opening, but it sounds pretty good. I was really excited about the music. Again, it seems like Dragon Ball Daima is just going to be something very fun, almost a final love letter to the Dragon Ball fandom from Toriyama and Toei Animation to say, yo, you've loved Dragon Ball for a long time. Here's kind of a rebirth in a sense with this Dragon Ball Daima anime, and I'm going into it to just have a good time. I'm not expecting the most grandiose villains and threats. That's what we got Super for, and the Super manga has already been announced that it's returning quote unquote soon. I'm going into this one to enjoy, to get a little piece of my childhood in front of my eyes once a week, and just in general have a blast. Art and animation looks 10 out of 10, and if it's anything of what I expect, I'm imagining Dragon Ball Daima is just gonna be a really enjoyable little piece of Dragon Ball anime. You want Super? Wait for the manga and wait for the anime to return. You're just a fan of Dragon Ball, the lore, the characters, and all of the universe. Dragon Ball Daima seems like it's going to be awesome, and I can't stress enough, it looks so beautiful. But let me know what you guys think. First of all, do you think the team up of Goku and Supreme Kai seems like something you would like? Are you interested in that team up of them going on an adventure? Like, I hope that that's just like episode 1 or 2, and then eventually all the other Z Warriors are there, or all the Z Warriors are there in general, because that doesn't sound exciting, them two together. Your thoughts on this new Bobbity-esque villain? The characters Glorio and Panzi, again, their character designs, they're alright, I guess. They just don't seem too Toriyama inspired and more like a Dragon Ball Heroes inclusion. Your thoughts on Goku going Super Saiyan? I ain't gonna lie, it did look freaking awesome. And your overall thoughts and expectations for Dragon Ball Daima? That's all I have for this one. I'm Tim, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Subscribe and hit that bell to get more. Thank you so much.
But in the end, it always ends with the end. So let's not pretend we can always start anew. We can do it again.